3 of our best of 1986. I'm Bill Harris.
And I'm Rex Reed. And 1986, unfortunately, is going to go down in history of the year in which nothing very exciting did happen at the movies. Revenues were low, ticket sales were off, home video kept a lot of people at home, and the general quality was low. Even the popcorn was bad. But Bill and I have nevertheless managed to separate the wheat from the chaff, and we've come up with some titles that we wouldn't mind seeing again.
Very true. You know, every year as OptiClan approaches, someone repeats the news and the odds against the comedy ever taking Best Picture honors. Now, I don't know what anyone has against laughing. And this year, Danny DeVito and Bette Midler teamed up as an unloving husband and wife to give us one of my favorite films in Ruthless People. Remember the scene when DeVito tells girlfriend Anita Morris about his beloved?
I want the rest of that money. His money, her money, it's my money. I had to live with that squealing, corpulent little toad all these years. God, I hate that woman. I hate the way she flicks stamps. I hate her furniture. And I hate that little sound she makes when she sleeps.
Well, remember the classic moment when Midler learns her kidnapping appears to be a failure and her ransom is now negotiable?
Yeah. He didn't pay. He didn't pay? So now what? So now we're dropping our price again to $10,000. Do I understand this correctly? I'm being marked down? Why is this the bargain basement? I've been kidnapped by Kimber.
Bravo! I am a real DeVito devotee anyway, always have been. But with Ruthless People, Bette Midler proved she could really do it, and more. Helen Slater buried her Supergirl past. Anita Morris was back with a bang. Judge Reinhold delivered again. And Bill Pullman, stupidest person in the world, made your sides ache. It was crisp and quick, well-written and sometimes surprising. And almost amazingly, for a comedy these days, it was also very, very funny.
And one of the few times that I've ever found total raunch to be rewarding.
But it was light raunch.
It's a very raunchy picture, but even the four-letter words to me were used as comedy and not just a shock.
And the fans, the faithful of Bette Midler, have watched her go to some movies that moved, and it paid off. This was sensational, and she proved she could do it.
She really delivered in that picture. It's one of my funniest pictures of the year. But topping my 10 best list as my absolute favorite movie of the year is Woody Allen's Hannah and Her Sisters, a movie I like so much that it's not only on my 10 best list this year, but maybe for all time. A flawless jewel of a movie that would distinguish any movie season. 3 Thanksgivings in the lives of a trio of neurotic sisters formed the structure of this rich, complex, life-affirming film of greatness and heart. Mia Farrow was Hannah, the maternal, child-bearing, annoyingly perfect sister who has to take care of not only her siblings, but her daffy parents, played by the late Lloyd Nolan, and Mia's own real-life mother, the lovely Maureen O'Sullivan.
Hi, Ron. How you doing? Let me get you some coffee. What triggered it?
We were making a commercial down at the mayor's office, and there was this young, good-looking salesman, and your mother was throwing herself at him in a disgusting way. And when she found she was too old to seduce him, that he was just embarrassed by her.
Liar! Liar!
And then she got drunker and drunker, and finally she became Joan Collins.
All my life, I've had to put up with insults from this non-person, this haircut that passes for a man. She could never support us. It's a good thing we had a talented daughter.
I can only hope that she was mine. With you as her mother, her father could be anybody in Actors Equity.
Hannah and Her Sisters is Woody Allen's most optimistic film. It's a funny valentine to the nutty Cuisinart of contemporary New York life that tells us all a lot about our own capacity for love and survival. Barbara Hershey and Diane Wiest were marvelous as Hannah's sisters, and Woody Allen himself, Michael Caine, and Max von Sydow as the bees in their hive added extra stitches to the needlepoint canvas. And the result is a work of astonishing wisdom and purity that embraces life in all of its crazy, hilarious, heartbreaking emotional contrast. It's what you get if Chekhov was alive in 1986 and writing for the New Yorker. A genuine masterpiece.
I knew from the very start that this was one of your favorites, and coming up now, Oscar time.
Yes. New York film critics and Los Angeles film critics this year have voted this the best picture, so we'll see if Oscar picks up on it. I think it's Woody's wisest film.
It's also one of his warmest, and it's one of his most human. To me, it was more so than others. I felt warmed by it and fascinated by all the characters in it.
I saw myself in all of those people, and that's rare praise. Coming up next, two more of the best of 1986.
It's really funny. You bought an asshole.
It shouldn't come as any surprise to regular viewers of this show to learn that the next movie on my best list is one of my favorites, Peggy Sue Got Married. A warm, funny, spirited cross between Back to the Future and Our Town. It's about a middle-aged housewife who passes out at her 25th high school reunion, and when she comes to, it's 1960, and everybody is 18 again. Now, the comic possibilities of that kind of dilemma are numerous. Even a harmless date with the high school sweetheart Peggy Sue knows she's going to marry later on takes on a different slant when the girl's got 25 years of sexual experience and the boy doesn't know it.
Charlie, touch my father.
What? You mean sex? You're correct. You want to have anchor? Last week in Houston. What time is it? Holy cow. It's late. Real late. Come on! What is this? What the hell is going on, Peggy Sue? One week you say if you love me, you won't. The next week you say if you love me, you will. That's a guy's line.
Kathleen Turner's range and beauty and magnetism made Peggy Sue a very special treat for me. And Francis Ford Coppola's warm direction resulted in his best film since The Godfather. The movie has magic and charm in abundance, and its message, be selective in life and hold on to the things that matter and cherish those experiences of lasting value in your life. Well, it's a deeply moving message. We've all wanted to relive the past and change our destiny. Peggy Sue is one who gets the chance, and she discovers that the choices she made were not so bad after all. And this is a lesson worth learning, and it's a movie worth remembering.
Viewers will also know that I loved it too. I'll never forget when she had the chance to say I love you once again to someone who's gone. And also, of course, viewers know that when Rex and Kathleen Turner meet, I'll have to have a crowbar. Now, for another film for me, The Hitcher was an unforgettable film whose studio obviously didn't know just what to do with it. But a favorite movie milestone of mine for this year. C. Thomas Howell starred as a young man who knew he was disobeying his parents' warning when he picked up a mysterious hitchhiker late at night. A hitchhiker who then tries to kill him. Time and again, an otherworldly Rutger Hauer is chillingly and menacingly back again to try it.
Hi, kid.
Just can't keep a good man down. The Hitcher was terrific movie making, keeping the audience on the edge of its collective seat. Howard's unexplained antagonism towards Howell was unfathomable and relentless. There wasn't time to breathe. It was a film that kept setting you up time and again. The movie makers got you. They kept you off balance. They kept you begging for more, literally peeking between your fingers. Well conceived, brilliantly executed, lovingly, wonderfully photographed. The Hitcher is one you cannot forget.
Boy, I'm so glad you chose that film because all year I have considered that one of the really underrated movies of the year. It's really strictly formula material, stalks boy. But the power of the film is that you don't understand the motivations of this hitchhiker, and that's the killer, not the hitchhiker, but that's what made me put me in the driver's seat, because I identified. These are the kind of maniacs who could follow you on the highway.
And it's reminded the crazies are out there. So are two more movies coming up next. More of our best for 1986.
Are we going to make some money today, or am I still talking to our lady at the cue ball?
We'll make some money. Definitely. I'm a wild man.
One of the riskiest films made last year was certainly Salvador. Oliver Stone's politically sensitive, analytical, and critical film of the turmoil in El Salvador and its causes. James Woods and Jim Belushi have yet to beat their performances in this one, which combines terror and violence with a combination of humor, both dark and light.
If God gave me this woman, then there must be a God. So, if he knows what's right, then I would do what's right by him. This would pink. Change your ways. That's gonna be a little tough. You know, if you love this woman, you would be willing to change. Okay? I still drink and take a few hits of a joint or something once in a while, all right? That's okay. 12 Our Fathers, 10 Hail Marys, an act of contrition.
Salvador was a very serious film, that clip doesn't indicate it, about a political reality. It used gonzo journalism in the person of Wood's offbeat reporter. Now, in real life, the government behind the real death squad first welcomed the filmmakers of this political thriller, then pulled back, and the producer's best contact was assassinated. The images and reality are powerful and seemingly undeniable, although there is controversy. Never a popular picture, it's a true story we're told about one reporter's search for the truth. It's a picture that's dared, upsetting, and courageous. It was risky, and for many, it was spellbinding.
I'm afraid I didn't like this one as much as you did, although I do think it's an interesting film. But I was muddled about the politics in the film. I didn't know too much more about El Salvador after leaving the picture than I did going in. All I knew was that there were a lot of gonzo reporters there. But I found them surly, I found them mean-spirited, and it was a pretty depressing film. Now, another 1986 favorite, The Color of Money. Martin Scorsese's tough, gritty, and satisfyingly slick sequel to The Hustler. Paul Newman was back as Fast Eddie Felson, king of the pool room hustlers. And Tom Cruise was the young mirror image of Newman as a kid, who became the old pro's protege. Now, this fascinating combination of energy and style made the movie one of the year's smash hits in scenes like this one.
You're also a natural character.
I've been telling her that. You know, I got natural character.
That's not what I said, kid. I said you are a natural character. You're an incredible flake.
Good old reliable Paul Newman. He gives it all he's got in this movie. His eyes are bloodshot, his complexion is seedy and pallid, just like the color you would get if you spent your whole life in smoking pool rooms. This man is like aged bourbon in a $100 bottle, and Tom Cruise is a big, lovable airhead of a counterpart in the picture, with his muscle shirts and his doo-wop Fabian haircut. He doesn't look anything at all like the preppy pilot in Top Gun. And director Martin Scorsese keeps all the balls flying, just like marbles in all the side pockets. The pace in this picture was breathless, the suspense was throat-clutching, it was beautifully photographed, and in the end, they taught us that the game of pool is not about honor or talent or fame. It's about the smell and the color of money.
Right here, we said that we're going to make an awful lot of it, and it sure is true. What's even more true, the people are coming up to me now and saying, is Paul Newman going to get that Oscar? Is this his time?
I think it could be.
I'd like to see it, wouldn't we? Sure would like to see it. Next up, still more of the best of 1986. Stay tuned. It's always rare and refreshing, no matter what year it is, to see any movie that is intelligent, funny, romantic, and suspenseful all at the same time. And Legal Eagles was all of those things and more. The attractive co-stars were Robert Redford and Deborah Winger, two lawyers tackling a complex murder case.
Bradford, things were even further complicated by the fact that his new law partner and his sexy client were both in love with him, causing chaos in court and at the office, too.
Are you going to sleep with our client again?
What's that got to do with the trial?
It has everything to do with our working relationship. She's a very attractive young girl.
Extremely attractive.
I didn't say extremely. I said just attractive.
Extremely.
She has a nice body.
Sensational body.
I'll pick the adjectives. A good body. Big eyes.
Big, hypnotic.
Big eyes.
Unforgettable.
Oh, yeah. Are you going to sleep with her again or not?
Legal Eagles was a special triumph for Robert Redford because after a colorless and kind of indifferent performance in Out of Africa, America's heartthrob displayed brand new comic talent that had never before been explored on the screen. And Deborah Winger was really a perfect sidekick and more beautiful than I've ever seen her in a movie. And the result, well, it was a romantic comedy, a thrilling whodunit, all rolled into one glamorous package. Sort of an updated Katharine Hepburn Spencer Tracy movie with attitude. It's a movie that kept me on the edge of my seat and it kept a smile on my face all at the same time. And boy, that, in 1986, is rare praise indeed.
Even rarer, it's a good luck to come up with a team like that. Untried, two people you don't know if they'll work together well. They do, and they take a film and it goes. I like it. Combustible is a good word. They did. Speaking of combustible, here's one from me. Tough Guys is as good as they get for an old softie who loves to see legends, and especially loves to see them working. And everything and everybody was working when Kirk Douglas and Burt Lancaster got together for this one, and got together for the last. They're two old train robbers, finally released from prison, who just may go back to doing what they do best.
All right, Archie. What do you want us to do? Steal another empty armored truck? Maybe start a collection? No. We gotta do something really big. Like what? Something they won't laugh at. Tell them. I think we should take down the flyer. Take down the flyer? That's right. That's the stupidest idea I ever heard of. That's what you said about the armored truck? Oh, no. I said the armored truck was dumb. This is stupid. There ain't nothing to steal on the flyer. So we'll steal a whole damn train and ride it to Mexico. What for? To prove we can do it.
They can do it all right. This team doesn't make mistakes, and neither do old dependables like a beautiful Alexa Smith and a hilarious Eli Wallach. Charles Durning, too. You cannot watch Tough Guys and not come away with a smile, and come away thinking there's something different about the old pros. No one else could have pulled this one off. No one else could have delivered what Kirk Douglas himself calls essentially a two-man love story. You end up loving the story and the stars, and why not? For just a few hours, as opposed to any other films around today, you were in the hands of the masters.
And boy, don't they still do it better than anybody else. All the young Turks in the business ought to be forced to see Tough Guys to find out how it's really done.
That's required reading back in high school.
Yeah, but I
don't see this and see how two men who know the ropes make it happen.
Just a genuine pleasure from start to finish, that movie. And, you know, Phil and I really started off the show thinking it was going to be tough to find enough good movies to talk about. And our list hasn't been bad at all so far. And there's more. I've got other honorable mentions. For example, Crimes of the Heart. A flawless vehicle for Sissy Spacek, Diane Keaton, and Jessica Lange as off-the-wall Scarlett O'Hara's in rural Mississippi today. And The Mosquito Coast, a powerful film in which Harrison Ford finds a new paradise in the South American jungle and loses his soul in the process. Blighty Beach Memoirs, Neil Simon's affectionate autobiography about the trials and tribulations of growing up funny and Jewish in Brooklyn in the Depression. My Beautiful Laundrette, an original offbeat import from England about Pakistani immigrants who find racial unrest and sexual identity in modern London. And Desert Bloom, a low-budget surprise in an unusual setting in which a teenage girl comes of age in Nevada during the atomic bomb tests and learns a lot about life from the neurotic grown-ups around her.
Good choices all, and still more. You bet. I have some. William Hurt, a newcomer Molly Matlin, Stole Your Heart in Children of the Lesser God. For many of us, it was the touching and offbeat love story of the year. Stephen King stepped out of horror and into childhood nostalgia with Stand By Me. For millions, a simple and warm and wonderfully touching and funny remembrance of things past and gone forever. Now, Rex doesn't agree with me there. But Rex and I did have our first and only 4-star agreement of the year with Crimes of the Heart. Just terrific. Then Sigourney Weaver landed back in outer space and on the cover of Time magazine for a sequel even better than the blockbuster original. Aliens continued the unearthly sci-fi battle, and the excitement not only never stopped, it just got better. And finally, I thought Farrah Fawcett delivered a big screen performance in extremities that knocked off anything she had ever done before on the small screen. As the rape victim fought back with vengeance, she was unforgettable.
That's it for this week. Next week, we'll be back with a new edition of At the Movies. Until then, I'm Rex Reed.